So you've been appointed for a video interview call via Zoom or Skype. Now, how do you ensure that you're presenting yourself in the best form that the interviewer perceives you as being professional? Joining us today is video marketing strategist, professional photographer and model Yana Martens, who will be sharing with us the tips today she uses to personally enhance herself, her client's brand awareness through video. Some of the important tips you will learn are understanding the video lighting and camera basics, the importance of being yourself in the best form, and lastly, personal branding. Yana will also be sharing her story how she started, especially coming from Russia with a deep accent and English as a second language, how she stepped out of her comfort zone and adopted the right mentality for success. Yana, thank you so much for your time and being part of our project to share to the wider community on how videos are important. I know you're an expert in your field and you've probably got a lot of things that you can share. I just want to dive straight in, if that's okay with you. And the first question I want to ask you is just understanding your story, how you began. I mean, of the video world.
Yes, it's actually been quite a long story, to be honest, because originally I was doing a lot of modeling, so it was like half hobby, and then it became my part-time job, and been really enjoying it. And while I was doing modeling for a long time, one question is really stuck with me: why so many people don't like being photographed? And that was the first thing that I kind of started researching to understand, why some people just love being in front of the camera, and some people just froze as soon as someone pointed camera at them. And because I have to have a degree in psychology, so I started incorporating all my psychology knowledge into this research. So the funny thing, there is no such a thing as a camera phobia. All the phobias in front of the camera, they relate it more to your social fears and fears to be seen and be judged. So there is no such a thing like camera phobia. And all the fears in front of the camera related to social fears, is like fears of being judged or being seen. So I started researching that more. And then while I was running some workshop for aspiring models to help them to pose in front of the camera, a lot of photographers that contacted me asking how to get best out of people when they photograph them, because a lot of photographers had the good technical skills, but not as advanced communication skills. And they needed to build this rapport with the subject to get best out of the subject. And then, because I've been so good in directing people, I started photographing people myself. And then the video became more popular. It's all turned into from the photos, it went to the video. Then I started helping people how to behave in front of the camera, how to manage how people perceive you in front of the camera, and how to be more engaging than you presenting in front of the camera as well.
Another question, I was very curious, not having English as your first language and having that accent, how do you overcome this, and how did you venture onto the project?
It has been a long process. I moved to Australia 10 years ago, and it didn't come like that. So for probably first 2 years been challenging with the language. So my English wasn't that great, and I moved, and I lived in Queensland on Sunshine Coast, and in general it's a bit harder to find jobs there. It's less jobs there in general. And then you have an accent, it's even more harder. So I actually been fired from 2 jobs in the beginning because I just couldn't understand people. And it's just the patience, I guess. You learn, you practice, you learn from your mistakes. I think the hardest bit here, and I think for a lot of people it might be challenging, then you already have your local experience, and you have a bit of idea what kind of job you can get, and then you aiming for those jobs, but you can't get them, and you start attaching to your self-esteem. There is nothing wrong with you. It's just a certain skill that you need to improve. And I think that's really important to remember that don't start judging yourself that, oh, I'm not good enough or anything like this. So think about what sort of communication skills you can improve. Like, it's not only the language barrier, it can be cultural barrier as well, because we can speak a perfect language but still don't understand, humor, or didn't understand the different traditions or personalities. So takes time. So every time, I guess, you move to another country, you need to remember that it's a process, and it's getting easier and easier every time. It just not being too harsh on yourself as well, because if you start getting too harsh on yourself, you can stay in the same circle and just give up at some stage. So that's really important. Like, actually understand that it's a process.
Great. I totally agree with you as well. They say it's like a vicious circle. You don't want to put yourself in that, oh no, you put hatred on yourself after that, and you won't grow out of it. And that's we have a lot of young professionals, not just Australians, that fear the camera, but we also work with a lot of skilled migrants from overseas, and that's why I like to ask you that question, because the language barrier, they don't just feel English is a problem, but they also fear that the accent, people might not understand them, or they might not say the word properly. So it's great to have your insight on it, and thank you so much for that. Yeah, I mean, following from there, I guess it relates to another question that I like to ask you, what makes a great video? Like, if you want to sell yourself over a video, like what needs to be, what are the steps, I should probably say?
So the first thing I always tell people, we need to remember that video is just another communication tool. So video is not anymore this, piece of fancy commercial that we see on TV. So even if you shoot one great video, that one usually won't get you anywhere. So there is no such a thing anymore, like just get one video, got viral or something like this. Yeah. So the video is actually a communication tool, and you need to look at the video as your strategy. It doesn't have to be just video. It can be pictures and blogs and things like this. The video is just the most powerful communication tool, because you can incorporate all the visuals in it, and it's easy to consume. So that's why having a strategy is really important. And then you plan all other things around the video. You need to remember that on the video, people will judge you not only by your words, but by your nonverbal communication, but by what you wear, what's around you, what's the lighting you have, what's the background. So you kind of need to understand that how we perceive each other in the real life is a little bit different how we perceive each other on the video, and you can adapt this little thing to look better and feel more confident and be more engaging than in front of the camera.
100%, I totally agree. Just like anything, content in the context, it's really important. Now, recognizing and seeing the trend of job search becoming digital, like I could see that interviews are being online now. People are using videos more. How did you do it? Like, how do you get yourself out of the comfort zone to actually be in front of camera and not think like, oh, people are going to laugh at me now? You know what that means?
So there is a lot of obviously things in the world, and different people have a different negative thoughts that related being in front of the camera. Usually, the most common one, like, oh yeah, what if I will look stupid? What I want to look professional? What I destroy my reputation? And who gonna listen to me? I'm too boring. All these thoughts. All these thoughts can be walked through. We can. For example, if something like, oh, I'm just boring. Like, who gonna listen to me? But remember, like, for example, boring. It's really subjective. Yeah. So you can be boring for one audience and really inspiring for another, you know what I mean? So you can talk about baseball, with your mates, and they think like you're cool, but you can, I don't know, go and talk on the business meeting about baseball, and everyone like, what are you talking about? Like, we don't want to listen to it. So remember, it's all depends also who is your audience or what you're aiming for. So you're not trying to create video that everyone will like. That's not the reason. The reason is really understand who do you want to engage and what these people want to hear. And that's really important to know, because, everyone will notice the thing they choose to notice. And, thinking about pleasing everyone, that's already not a great place to start. Yeah. So it's about the strategy and your audience, understanding how to engage with them. So, and then obviously practice. Yeah. So the reason, one of the biggest reason why people don't like to be in front of the camera, it's simply because they're not used to it. And I've been working with a lot of people, especially people over 40 that I'm usually working with. The thing with them, usually they can be really comfortable standing in front of people, doing public speaking, on the stage. But you put the camera in front of them and they're gone. And the reason for it is usually the lack of this immediate feedback that they used to get from the audience, and they can't get this immediate feedback from the camera. So, you need to kind of entertain yourself when you're in front of the camera and laugh at your own jokes. But because they not used to it, because every time they've been talking in front of people, not in front of the camera, that's what gets them, because it's unusual situation. That's why as more you're doing anything, you can be a really confident person overall, but doesn't mean that you will be confident doing every single task. Yeah. So every time you're starting a new activity, you don't feel confident when you're starting a new activity. So that's why it's all about practice. As more you practice, as more you notice what did you do right, what you haven't done right, what work well, and you can adjust and get better and better. And also with the practice, a lot of people don't like watching themselves back on the video. Or like listening to their recorded voice. It's the same story. We don't like it because we're not used to it. So it's more actually you watching yourself back, as more you're listening to yourself back, as more you understand about yourself as well, as more you get used to it, and as more you can improve.
Totally agree. So just on that topic, so obviously if they're applying for a job, you'd obviously suggest them to be more in a professional context. Just be sure. Have you coached anyone that was wanting to get a job and they had to do a video interview maybe?
Usually I work with people who are improving their overall personal branding.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And and they're building their online presence to go to the higher jobs, so they progress in their career. They maybe not particularly applying to a job, but they making themselves visible for recruiters. But the principles are all the same, if you're creating video or you're in a video interview, it's the same principles, you need to remember, if you're on a video interview, remember where is your light coming from, make sure that your light is not behind you and the person can't see your face. The person needs to see your face for the interview, because people, picking up all the cues from people's faces. So it's really important that they clearly see your face. It's really important that your background is actually supporting your story. It depends what sort of job you're applying for. You need to think what's behind you that actually can show your intentions in some way. Yeah. So that's like, if you're applying for business job, try to keep your background looking business-like. If you're applying for I don't know, but you need to match your background to your message, because it's the first thing that the person will see then they see the video, and that can really affect your first impression. And then you're thinking about all your nonverbal communication. Is your camera on the eye level? Because that's really important. If your camera is too low, that's not the right angle, and plus you might look a bit too dominant, because it's like looking from to the person from up down. Or if your camera is too high, that's more like a submissive look. You don't wanna be perceived like that too. So these little cues makes a difference, try to keep camera on the eye level, try to lean forward, try to smile as much as you can. Try to naturally move your hands, because your hand gestures related to speaking and thinking. So then your hands move freely. It's make you look more confident, not like holding your holding your hands to the desk and scared to move them. It's not civil. Even if it's out of frame, it's not civil. There is a tension there. So again, coming to practice, and you can practice your hands gestures just in front of a mirror, then telling yourself some story. Just have a look what your hands doing, because they are really powerful nonverbal cues as well.
Wow, you got a lot of experience, I can tell on that. The last question I've got is, it's more about LinkedIn and social media. So, I mean, you're pretty big on LinkedIn. I've noticed that. I mean, what is it? I mean, is it that important? I mean, do you suggest people to use LinkedIn as well?
You go where your audience are. Yeah. So if you think that people that you want to connect and people that you want to engage, they are on LinkedIn, you go on LinkedIn. If they think they're on Facebook, you go on Facebook. If they're on Instagram, you go on Instagram. So again, it's coming back to who do you want to connect, what sort of message you want to get to people. Yes, I guess if you're looking for a job, recruiters are on LinkedIn, no doubt about it. And LinkedIn is a quite a big platform for that. And if you actually really know what sort of job you want to get, nothing stops you to target all these people in in the HR roles or in the recruiting, or even people from the organization that you dream to work for this organization. No one stops you to connect with different people from this organization and just ask them questions about this organization and check what's going on. And your content need to be educational and inspiring for these people, for your target audience. Again, coming back to the purpose of your content there. So if you were to be like boring on professionals, think about who this content for, who you're actually trying to have conversation with.
The last thing I'd like you to add is basically, if people wanted to follow you and wanted to know how to reach out to you, how can they do so?
The easiest way to connect with me is LinkedIn. I'm pretty much every day on LinkedIn, and at the moment I'm doing live show on LinkedIn, so I'm there every day at 12 o'clock, so you can always join me for the conversation there. So LinkedIn is the easiest way, and I also have a website, yanamartens.com, if you have any inquiries as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Yana, for your time. Oh my god. All right, what do we miss out?
I don't know how he managed to press the mute button.
There you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comments below of what others videos you would like us to do. And also, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share our video, because it will help us to create more content like this. Until then, I'll see you next time.